Thank you very much, LVP. And here we go, Andy. Finally, we get into our first game of our first series of the day. Apologies for the delay, everybody. But now we're bringing you gameplay. It's Optic Gaming, the back-to-back champions, looking for that 3P, going up against eUnited, who have a story of their own to tell.
That's right, let's waste no time. It is time to play here. This is your first series of the day, and it's going to be a great one here. As we saw earlier, it's a best of 5, and it's a sneaky Ola in the back of Elevator getting the back whack top A.
Couple of adjectives that seem to just fit before the word Pistola, and one of them is always sneaky. Those two always combine together, more often than not, it would seem. Early control here for Optic Gaming with the AB setup, and this is what you want to have initially to then move up and look for those kills. Spartan is going to find himself once again with a sneaky Pistola behind him. The Mangler kill will do some damage, and that's going to be 2 dead here for EU.
As a rule, nice little sword kill there does come in for RyaNoob. However, traveling in 2s is APG and Ola, and that's going to then go in the favor of Optic Gaming as they will put a few more points on the board. But as a rule, if you don't know where Pistola is, it's kind of like a horror film. He's probably behind you, and 9 times out of 10, that's the case.
Yeah, Pistola's going to peek from the shower curtain, and it's going to be a scary thing for sure. RyaNoob using that grapple to traverse from A towards bottom control. Not without losing his shields for a few moments, but that's kind of like APG now to move in onto A. And we've been talking about Lucid and TriPPPeY a lot in this Optic Gaming lineup with the stats they've been putting up, and quite rightly so. But like I mentioned yesterday, I feel that doesn't happen without the likes of APG and Pistola doing what they do on the map.
That's right, and APG doing very well here because he's sitting back A. Keep in mind, we just saw what happens if you leave back A, back elevator exposed. Players can not only get behind you in the back whack, they can actually spawn behind you if you start to move towards control. So this is very good discipline, very good control here coming in. And even though the team side, you gotta tell him he's behind him. APG not able to get the communication there that Spartan was behind Ola. So tables turn there for just a moment, but not really on the scoreboard because just like that, it's 44-6.
Look at the pressure that APG is keeping on, though. He manages to escape with his life as well. That is such a good play from APG, just buying his teammates time to move up. And now 2 eUnited players have fallen as a result of that. The score, like you mentioned, 45-16. However, United are scoring for now. They have control of B, they have control of C, as you see TriPPPeY now trying to rotate for Optic.
Look at Ola's quick work with that commando. That's something of nightmares. You know, that commando, once you start to master it, it has such a fast kill time, and you put it in the hands of someone like Ola, and it gets really dangerous. Speaking of things that get dangerous, also TriPPPeY with the shock rifle as well. We're going to be keeping an eye on that. And what I like here on set, and a little bit of a slide underneath the tag comes in from Spartan. They do make sure to clean up the kill, but one thing I got to point out is that Optic is really prioritizing holding back A and then patrolling on the actual elevator platform, which not a lot of teams do, and it forces them to lose A. Optic is really being disciplined about that.
Now look at these respawns coming in for eUnited, all on the long haul side and all away from the majority of the strongholds that they want to be trying to get control of. So it's going to be a tough battle here for eUnited, and especially with the shock rifle in the hands of TriPPPeY. Any kind of crosses they try and go on, they're going to be denied very, very quickly. But 2 kills do go down for them. KingNick, the force push doesn't take him off the edge, but it will force him into the respawn screen as Pistola now starting to work his magic around C.
What a play from Ola. There's a reason we've been talking about this guy so much. Takes a nade back C ramp, and it looks like we were just going to see a player from eUnited just fly in for the melee kill. Instead, hits a repulsor. Perfect timing to get the few extra shots and wins that battle. And just another example of how mastering that equipment can be the difference maker in these engagements.
And look at how Optic are playing this. They were down in numbers, so you saw Ola and Lucid both playing together, just slowing things down and valuing their lives. I think that's something to really highlight. We hear a lot of pros talking about it, Andy. The ability to stay alive and not give away just silly deaths is being put on perfect display here from Optic.
And this should be another cleanup on KingNick from Lucid. And Lucid maybe no one really been matched with him in terms of the use of the equipment, and that's such a great grapple to fly him into back A. Essentially, no one even caught him going in that direction there. And it's going to be a camo grab for RyaNoob, going to try to turn this game around, but just like that, already about 116-26.
KingNick going to be working with RyaNoob here to try and put some pressure onto B. A couple of kills will go their way as RyaNoob does manage to pick up 1. RyaNoob now going to be able to control the grapple too. And the shock rifle is going to make a trio of power-ups and power weapons here for RyaNoob. Now, can he put them to use in the same way that we see the Optic Gaming players do? That's the real question here. Managed to body APG, but not going to be that headshot, which could have been so valuable.
Ooh, tries to hit the grapple. He's going to fly right into C plat, and it's a very nice win. And he's going to get help on APG as well, it looks like. So they should be able to clean out back C here as long as they don't run into too much trouble. APG will be sent for a swim, but not before taking down KingNick. So it's a pretty big play from APG to stay alive there.
Yeah, APG doing a good job, but as you say, sent to the icy depths. This can be shocking for all. RyaNoob still playing the back of this sword area so well at the moment. The spiral ramp is such a good place to just poke up and down and play those head glitches and protect C. And eUnited is starting to claw back into this one a little bit, Andy. Grapple going to be coming in, and TriPPPeY going to be removed from the game for a few moments. And timing on the side of RyaNoob there, another second or so, and that might have not looked so cool.
I don't know if we could have asked for a better clip, a better evidence of just how important it is to have that grapple to snag the power weapons. And right there, he gets rewarded immediately, times the battle against TriPPPeY perfectly, kind of putting on a little bit of a clinic and showing you exactly how to use that grapple as he continues to hold down back C.
And you saw, once again, RyaNoob, perfect indication of what we were talking about, shooting those grenades on that blue platform. Now he's got that sword in hand as well, and Pistola causing him some problems here, but RyaNoob buying enough time for his teammates to get close and give him a little bit of assistance, but 110 to 118 now. Or I should say 116 to 110, excuse me, in this favor of Optic Gaming at the moment. eUnited have made a really good comeback here, and finally Optic starts scoring once more.
Brought this back in a really strong way. Just look at Lucid's movement, though. This guy is drop sliding and curb sliding much more than anyone else on the map. You can see how fast he's zooming across the map and just absolutely getting to where he needs to be. And we are going to continue to see a skill gap emerge with players that are mastering Halo Infinite's movement.
Yeah, one of the best players and getting from A to B. However, there's not much you can do when RyaNoob is falling from the skies with a piece of cutlery in his hands. He'll cut him down for now, as Pistola will now move up to jump into B to help out his teammates. Some shots going to be coming in, but they're double capping this. The contestant comes in now. Pistola whiffs that beat down, but his teammate is there to give him a little bit of assistance. As now AB is in control. Spartan will be taken down as well here by Lucid. Picks up the sword. An easy double kill for him. And Optic back in control.
Feels like time and time again, whenever we get to Lucid's POV, it is him putting the team in the driver's seat along with the rest of the squad. That will be a trip cap. As you say, for Optic, they will start to put points on the board even faster here. One of the first trip caps we've seen in this game. And after a very strong run from eUnited, Optic answers back.
Once again, Lucid trying to use that grapple to close the space. Now he's going to be putting pressure on. He uses the grapple to get even closer and too close for comfort for KingNick there as he gets taken down with the sword. Now he has a 1v1 with Spartan. Spartan will turn that one around, though. A big win for eUnited. BC controlling their hands too. 170 or so to 128 and climbing here. eUnited once again trying to claw their way back in.
TriPPPeY does well to clean out the back of C. Yeah, C players there in that Lucid Spartan battle, maybe both missing just a shot. You have to think Lucid maybe had a chance to win that battle and wishes he had that one back. But as you say, still points on the board for the side of Optic Gaming. They will continue scoring and extend their lead by just a bit. Nice work from TriPPPeY here around Elevator.
That's a really big kill from TriPPPeY as well, because there's a triple cap in effect here for eUnited. Spartan was trying to convert A and he was just a few seconds away, but that one bullet that just found its way through the door, found its way onto a Spartan's helmet was the difference maker. And now TriPPPeY is rotating back to C, and this triple cap is really starting to hurt eUnited.
Goes and gets the sword the old-fashioned way. If you'll remember, TriPPPeY was actually on the receiving end of that grapple sword play earlier, so now wants to get the sword in hand and wants to prevent that from happening again. Lucid also camoed, pushing B.
Easy kill for Lucid. Shock rifle in his hands, and he calls it his weapon. And to be honest with you, it should be renamed the Lucid gun, because he has been hitting headshots more often than not with this thing. Spartan will pick up one onto TriPPPeY, though. Two players have fallen for eUnited. Here goes Lucid once again, just transitioning from power position to power position, Andy, so well.
Do you see how he teed up that grapple as if he had hit that 10, 20 times before? He knew the exact spot, hits even a shot there into control. He knew the exact spot to grapple. He knew exactly how to 180. I'm telling you, and everyone has said this, he looks weeks ahead of other players in this game, and that is still showing here in our day 2 of our kickoff qualifier.
AB in control of Optic, and they're only around 12 points away from closing this out. It's up to eUnited to try and make a play here, and the way things are looking, it's going to be difficult for them to do so. KingNick tries to force his way through the front door. Beat down onto Rayne. Might just slow things down. Spartan's trying to do what he can at B, but the reset will come in now for Optic Gaming on B. Transition trying to happen at A, and it will do, but C now being taken by Optic.
Yeah, all eyes on C. They're at 244, only 6 points away now from closing this one out, Optic Gaming.
And C still in control of eUnited. That's a big kill as two players now fall. Optic Gaming find themselves in a momentary 2v4. RyaNoob trying to convert B as well. Pistola coming to have something to say about that, though. But a little bit of desperation here all of a sudden from Optic Gaming, Andy. Around B, and deaths are starting to stack up for them, but the distraction at C maybe was enough, as finally they will be scoring. But as I say that, B has two players from eUnited dressed in blue, converting that back to their
Yeah,
Score.
just like that. Now we'll see what happens with A is going to be big here, of course, and it does go the way of Optic. They will remain scoring once again. Does eUnited have any answer back? 247, 248. This should be it.
This will be it by the looks of things. Optic Gaming managed to close things out with 250 to 150, the final score. And it was just those triple caps we had a couple of times in the game, Andy, that just kind of dangled the bait out to eUnited a few times, but it was whipped away as quickly as it was offered.
It certainly was, and what a great game one between these two teams. A little bit of back and forth. 250 to 150 is going to be our final, but keep in mind, right around that 110, 120 point mark, this game was tied. So we did see a nice bit of tug of war between the two in terms of Optic with an early lead. And you saw United answer back right away. And take a look at the stats. And in the end, it was all Optic Gaming through and through. But let's take a look at some of the standout players. My eyes, of course, go to Lucid here, 20 and 12.
Of course they do. I mean, you don't just take Lucid's stats off next time. Every single time he leads a lobby, he has the most kills, and it feels like the least deaths as well. It's just ridiculous. Damage dealt we'll take a look at as well, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Mr. Lucid at the top of that leaderboard as well. Almost 6k in comparison to everyone else in the lobby, and with TriPPPeY the only other player to break 5k, I think that shows what an influence he had once more.
Certainly, and it just shows you how well Optic is playing right now, how good they look, and even when they started to lose a little bit of control in that game, they stayed collected and they answered right back. Let's take a look at some highlights from that game, number one.
Yeah, it was a very tight game for the majority of it. These sword plays around C certainly had an influence on who was controlling things. The repulsor as well. A couple of plays we saw coming in that are becoming almost more and more common with players knowing what angles to kind of hold Andy to send people down to their depths if they do get a little bit too close.
You're starting to see some really great consistency in gameplay as well. There are specific things that teams are prioritizing. Look at this play from Ola once again against KingNick. There are certain things that players are prioritizing and the way that they're playing that. Just to give you a few quick examples, once again, holding all of back elevator to ensure that no players are spawning back there. Also things like pairing the sword with the grapple as much as you can. And here's another great example, perfectly timed there with RyaNoob picking up that kill on TriPPPeY.
Yeah, can we just say about how production and you are completely in sync today? Because that's the second time that's happened now. You mentioned something and within 2 seconds we've had a perfect example of it. But this is where things started to get a little bit out of hand. Just towards the end, there was a triple cap that came in. The desperation from eUnited to try and break that. Just put them in a difficult cycle of spawns. And that was what allowed Optic Gaming to close out our map number one here. But we should remember, this is a best of 5 as once again production gives himself a pat on the back, and quite rightly so.
Look at the timing. Shout out to our man Joe in replay here, just hitting the exact replays that we're looking for every single moment. Look at this from TriPPPeY's POV. He had to watch all of this happen. He even got the melee off first and saw that sword being snagged and was like, oh god, this is going to come down to the wire. And guess what? We're going to game number 2.
Yeah, no time to talk about that anymore, because here we go into Aquarius Slayer, first to 50. The camouflage top middle going to be so vital, as well as those dynamo grenades. A little bit of a frantic start here as the teams are going to be trading kills 2-1 to eUnited as TriPPPeY tries to survive. And RyaNoob tries to do the same. He is the player who's got that camo, though.
Yeah, nice job there from Optic to prioritize that camo, making sure that it was neutralized. So we will stay here knotted up off of the break. As a reminder here, Slayer Aquarius is a game type that Optic has beaten eUnited in tournament play already just about a week and a half ago. So we'll see if they can repeat here and go up in the series 2-0.
4-2 now. Ola picking up the kill, and TriPPPeY going to be joining him as well. Spartan taken down, so that's 3 in quick succession falling for eUnited, and now doubling up on the score, and the heat wave and the weaponry seem to be in the hands of Optic Gaming all the time when we're looking at their POVs. As Rayne will come in, it'll be a trade, but not without Pistola going to the grave with a killing spree to his name.
Yeah, Ola with a heat wave, that is the stuff of nightmares. Rayne is going to be pretty happy with a trade there, because shutting down Ola with that weapon is definitely going to be a priority on the map. As Spartan needs to figure out how he maybe wants to move in through here. Has very good timing, but Lucid already has the heat wave in hand and makes quick work of him.
No fear whatsoever from Lucid. Just Reed Charles knows he's got his teammate there to give him a hand, and Rayne's now going to be trying to finish off Lucid and manage to finally slow him down. But I think if you needed an example of how indicative the confidence is in Lucid right now, that was a perfect one.
And Lucid almost win that battle as well. Just, I mean, we're talking about a very small tick of damage. Double kill for KingNick, comes in to clean up the scraps and manages to keep the game close. Only a 3-kill game here, 12-9 in favor of Optic.
And KingNick trying to put some shots down onto TriPPPeY in the back of the base. It seems like there's a little bit of a slowdown in the pace for now, but Lucid just, I mean, he drops the shoulder on him. It was almost like a Spartan charge back from Halo 5. The way that he thrusted forward into that beatdown, but 3 players have fallen for Optic while that play was being made, and Rayne has managed to pick up the camo, but neutralized immediately. This time it's TriPPPeY who was on his back.
A little bit of deja vu there. It's another eUnited camo grab, but the player was forced bottom middle and then gets naded out of bottom middle. So Optic is just doing so well. Hey, if we can't grab that camo, let's at least keep eyes on it. Then let's kill the camo immediately. That's been a big reason why they're still here with this lead.
He kills the difference between the teams. TriPPPeY will take the heat wave out of RyaNoob's hands. However, there's another teammate from eUnited there to pick that one up. So APG recognizing the situation, knowing that it's not a good battle to take as he goes down to bottom plants, but unfortunately he will find Spartan, who will find him a few moments to think about what he did. RyaNoob now flying in. Unfortunately, that's a little bit unlike an Optic Gaming player there, Pistola, not to get at least the trade in that situation where he did have that sidekick to use.
I agree, and RyaNoob, he knew that, right? He saw the sidekick in Ola's hands and knew, I need to get this 2-shot melee as fast as I possibly can, and RyaNoob prioritizes that, gets the kill very quickly, and just like that, this game is essentially knotted up here, 20-19 now, as eUnited will take the lead for just a moment.
Top middle control being fought for all of a sudden because the camouflage is going to be coming up in around 40 seconds or so, so if eUnited can get it back into their hands, it would be their 3rd in a row, but not without them being put to use so far. Ola now up on the top pink. You can see from the point of view here of RyaNoob, the dynamo grenades are going to be ticking to give that information, but also recognizing that his teammates were on the respawn there, so had to back down, and now he's trying to work a fight from a difficult angle against TriPPPeY as we jump over to the POV of Rayne.
RyaNoob just showing time and time again how difficult of a kill he is, and kills will go back and forth. You're going to see a little bit of a lead gain here for Optic. They will take the next 2, so they will be leading at the halfway mark here. 25, and Rayne hitting perfect nades from his feet onto the ramp. Maybe even turns 2. APG says no, but man, what a great game 2 between these 2 teams.
Yeah, it's been back and forth. Camouflage up as well. This is going to be the battle. You're going to see teammates flying towards top plants here for Optic Gaming. APG is going to be having a battle in the window with KingNick, though. Those shots, though, in reply were absolutely fantastic, but Nick is going to jump back out to get that. And speaking of getting hold of things, it's going to be TriPPPeY getting the first camouflage of the game for Optic Gaming.
That's a big grab as well. He knows the pressure's coming in. Rayne does not see the camo double back. That's going to extend their lead by 3. And like you said, you have to wonder, is this the swing that Optic Gaming needed? The last 2 camos were, for all purposes, burned by eUnited on the last rotations. Now that Optic actually has control of one, they might be able to start to extend their lead here.
3 players from eUnited just trapped inside of the closet. I'm sure the TriPPPeY's wishing he had some grenades to play with. Well, a couple of grenades in there, and he would have done a lot of damage to the players who were kind of skulking around. Speaking of skulking around, here's Pistola, and I'm going to say it again, being very, very sneaky as he pops around the corner with that heat wave to clean up the kill. But you have to say, even though eUnited have kind of been caught in a corner here, they've done well not to let this get too out of hand, Andy.
That is such a great and nerdy play by Ola. You might have seen he actually made sure that he died right next to Lucid on the dynamo pillars. In doing so, Lucid picks up the heat wave right away and pushes in to get that kill as well. Those little differences, Ola knew that he really didn't have anywhere to go. Instead of running bottom middle, he actually runs back to Lucid so that the heat wave would fall. And guess what? Now the heat wave's right back in the hands of Ola, just keeping that weapon on lock.
Lucid just keeping it warm for him until he came back off the respawn screen. Pistola going to pick up one bottom middle and retreat back to Lucid. And it seems like these two are making such a dynamic duo across the map at the moment. Every single time we're seeing one of their POVs, it seems to be 2 of them working together hand in hand to pick up some kills or create some space here for Optic Gaming. And speaking of creating space, now there is a 4-kill gap between the 2 as APG makes it even bigger.
APG grabbing that boxer medal off of the double kill, like you said, extends their lead even further. And you have to think on paper, what we're seeing is that camo and that heat wave control has been the difference maker. The first time Optic gets the camo, they also come away now. That's going to be their 2nd camo, and that's what has been really what has created a gap on the scoreboard.
11 kills to go for Optic Gaming. 19 for eUnited, and with the camo in the hands of Lucid, he's scary enough as a presence on the map when he doesn't have that power up. He's also got a sidekick, as you can see, doing some damage and allowing his teammate to add to his +1. And now he's going to have a pretty easy job here. KingNick had absolutely no idea Lucid was there and just gets eliminated by the small gun.
This is a stealthy man right here. Lucid's out here playing Tom Clancy and a little bit of Splinter Cell action while everyone else is trying to play Halo Infinite, because this man is popping around invisible with his sidekick out. Just so, does he get this kill as well? Yes, he does on RyaNoob. Are you kidding me? This man is putting on a show with the sidekick.
Lucid just gives zero. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. Every single time he's in a battle, he sees a body, he's going to challenge until the death. There's another kill coming in. A little bit of assistance from a teammate as ePistola now is over on the plant side trying to control things and just close it out for Optic Gaming. How has this got so out of hand for eUnited? Those two camos were the difference makers. Now it's just 3 to go to close out game 2.
They really were. Now, like you say, only 3 kills to go as we're just going to jump on board with APG, just getting a little bit of shields back in the fridge. It's going to be 48 now as they're going to get ready to close this one out. Such a strong finish from Optic Gaming.
2 kills to go. And at the moment, Optic Gaming just hunting for bodies. Lucid manages to do some damage, but not going to be able to pick up the kill. It's 49 now as Ola does manage to get that kill. Trippy trying to fire onto KingNick across the map, but not being able to connect quite as yet. Camo up in 20 seconds, but you get the feeling here, Andy, that Optic Gaming would like to close that out just before that power-up comes up.
Yeah, and even if the power-up does come up, the chances are they're going to get the kill off of that, and we'll have to see now that we're seeing this. Yes, indeed, it's going to be a final score, 50-39 in favor of Optic Gaming, with a very, very strong run from them towards the end of that match.
And the question still stands, eUnited, can you turn this one around? Because it's been the Optic Gaming show, and that series layout is just draped in green at the moment. The green wall adding brick by brick, and they're looking to add a third one to it now as we head to capture the flag on Bazaar. But that was dominant, Andy. The camouflages were the difference maker. eUnited got the first 2, but they were chased down immediately. They weren't allowed to influence the game, whereas Optic, when they got them in the hands, they just put those runs together.
And it really was the Ola show. 16-10 from the Wizard. He will go with a 7.3 KDA, big numbers. Trippy also 12-8. Lucid 12-9 on their side. On the other side of the board, it was a 15-13 performance from Rayne, but not enough. Like you said, a dominant performance, 50-39.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a given the Lucid's going to go positive, isn't it, at this point in Halo Infinite? So we'll look at everyone else. You can just presume at home that it is going to be another positive KDA for Lucid, but this is some of the plays, and as I say, it was a story of camos. We always stress in Halo, over the years, it doesn't matter what iteration it is, how vital power-ups can be to influence in these top level games, and it's, again, a perfect example of that.
And man, we saw some remarkable plays here across the board, really from both sides throughout that game. But once Optic Gaming started getting camos on set, that was really all she wrote.
It certainly was. ePistola and the Heatwave, best of friends. Certainly in his MySpace top 8.
Yes.
As we see the double kill coming in here. But this was how devastating and how quick the TTK is on the sidekick. That's a really good example of what we've been talking about. And another example of it here from Lucid as well. Jumping back up, re-clambering, reanimating himself back into that fight, and he's just cleaning out the closet, so to speak, with that sidekick in his hands.
And I think here's what eUnited is finding. If you want to take the sidekick out of Lucid's hands and take him out of utility, you need to send 2 players, because he's going to win those 1v1s. Look at what he just did to RyaNoob, one of the most technically advanced players in the game. And of course, RyaNoob not aware maybe they had thrust there, so instead just thrust straight past him while RyaNoob is grenading. That gives Lucid so much time to land those sidekick shots, but no time to waste. We're going straight into game number 3. It's going to be CTF on Bazaar.
Well, here we go then. This is we got a little teaser of this just before we got the series underway properly, but it didn't give us too much of a clue to how this one might work out. So for Optic Gaming, is the case now of just needing one more win to close out this series in what would be an emphatic 3-0 fashion.
Also getting an update as well. We have Sentinels and XSET 1-1 in their series. We'll keep it posted on that one, but things are heating up elsewhere in the bracket as well, as we now jump into game number 3 between these two teams. We'll see how this opening strat plays out this time.
Just another update. Apparently it was a 50-49 Slayer, so that series really is heating up, as is Optic Gaming now. Overshield going to be popped up to start with by Rayne. Slams that one into his chest. Ola's trying to do what damage he can, but already a flagpole coming in here from Optic Gaming. They are trying to be aggressive.
That is a very, very fast flagpole for CTF Bazaar. You also saw the Dynamo nades becoming a factor once again. Actually, APG trying to fly right into those. An interesting series of events. The overshield will essentially be neutralized there off of the opening, and we'll go back to a little bit of mid-map control.
Martin taken down in the hut. You can see that Nick is trying to do what he can here, just to kind of hold the treehouse. But the problem with holding a treehouse is that you set yourself up for someone flying in with rockets. There's going to be a double, and there might be a triple for Lucid. Everybody is in his way. Oh, the overkill was waiting, but it's going to be Ola, not the over. He's going to pick up that kill and now try and move in on that flag.
And you have to wonder, did they just take a little bit too much time? And Ola dropping down, now players are spawning up. They're trying to run this flag with only 2 players. We'll see how far they can get across. It's essentially a 2v3 flag run, but they have the map positioning right now. Big kill from TriPPPeY.
2 kills coming in though. eUnited now on the staggered respawn. Spartan and KingNick the last alive. TriPPPeY's going to pick up 1. Spartan just needs to be called out here by eUnited. This will be a guaranteed flag cap for them. They've already got it up to their balcony. Spartan is down low on those double doors. It would have to be a hero play, and it looks like eUnited have decided we're going to have to let this one go.
They did. I like the play from Spartan there. He actually went front pillars. He went front door to help clear off his balcony. They knew that that flag was probably gone. Spartan was not about to pull off a 1v3 miracle in the back of the base and get the re before other players had spawned. That's a bit too tall of an order. So instead he goes pillars and helps to shoot his bridge there to maybe get a little bit more control. But guess what? TriPPPeY's still behind enemy lines here.
Love this from TriPPPeY, and I love the way that Optic Gaming have started playing this game. They do not worry about that 50-yard line. They just worry about getting into your base, then starting to cause you problems. Overshield for the second time, though, will go to eUnited. It'll be RyaNoob who has it. However, I use has, and I should have used the word had it, because that is just going to be ripped off of his chest, and that is going to be him sent back into the respawn. eUnited now trapped in the base once more.
We've seen a melted overshield. That was a supreme tuna melted overshield. Amazing teamwork, amazing timing. The bulldog comes out from TriPPPeY as well. Almost gets the kill on Rayne, but regardless, they're going to be very happy with how they neutralized that overshield. It'll, of course, stay 1-0 in favor of Optic Gaming.
A little bit of a misplay there from TriPPPeY. Almost caught me off guard. It's probably pretty much the first one I've seen from him since Halo Infinite launched. Lovely shots coming in from Spartan, though, to take down Pistola down on the trench. He knows there's another player around as well. Has the Mangler to try and use, but so does Lucid. However, the high ground always wins those fights, so Spartan picks up 2.
Yeah, now a little bit of control here from eUnited, and while we wait for these rockets to pop, TriPPPeY also on the flank around Spartan, so we'll keep an eye on this battle here. Top rockets.
Thrust going to get him out of what looked like a little bit of a precarious situation there. Pistola going to be trying to clear some space for his team, but he's just going to be met by a rocket here from Spartan, who now pushes forward himself. 3 dead momentarily as eUnited now try and make the move into the base, and Spartan with the thrust finds Lucid. And just for a few seconds, I'm not sure he knew where Lucid was. APG going to be taken down. This is a massive opportunity as Spartan is starting to find some form.
Wow, confident, ballsy play from Spartan just to fly in there. It's so risky to go double doors because, as you saw from Spartan, he doesn't know whether he needs to look left or right, and you can't blame him on a map like Bazaar, but he has the help. He thrusts backwards and rockets the sandbags, and a perfect kill there. He really had to make sure he stayed alive, and TriPPPeY, though, is behind the enemy lines once again. Here he is on the flag.
Yeah, he is a snake in the grass right now as RyaNoob will be taken down to low shields, and he just needs to buy time. RyaNoob's going to reach Ali. Oh, my word, RyaNoob turning that one around. That is a huge 1v1 battle, because that 1v1 win, getting TriPPPeY out their base, results in the game being tied up at 1-1 as well.
And we'll have to see if we have that from RyaNoob's POV, because you might have heard the audio cue. It sounded like a grapple back in there from RyaNoob. I think he executed that very well, but we're right back in the action because APG secures another overshield for Optic.
APG now trying to move into the treehouse, but at the moment he knows that he can hear the audio cue of the green gun, also the needles, the purple and pink. He's starting to make him shrink, and he'll be taken down. So the overshield not been too effective for Optic Gaming in that particular situation.
Double kill there for Ola. We're also getting updates here from our team in the back. Inconceivable is now up 2-0 over Cloud9 after a 50-40 Aquarius Slayer. We talked about it earlier on set, and sounds like I thought a player was staring at a body there. You can see just how excited I was about this result. So we'll talk about both things in just a second. Apologies, it sounds like a player did drop out of that match. So we will get back into that CTF Bazaar. We'll let League Ops figure out what's going on there, your structure and your strat and your setup. When you look at Oddball Streets and Slayer Live Fire, those are game types where sneaky, nerdy plays, which, I mean, we're talking about RyaNoob here, can really make a difference. But we're right back into the game here.
Oh,
once again, resuming game number 3.
Yeah, not a good start here for eUnited, though. They might not be thinking about that game 3, or game 4, I should say, because 3 players have fallen almost immediately. Ola's going to pick up the rockets. Ola's going to pick up the overshield. So the perfect start here for Optic Gaming. Tied up at 1-1, we should say, in this game. So it will be the first team to pick up 4 flags, or when that time does disappear from our very eyes. Spartan picks up 1 on TriPPPeY, but look at how, I mean, this is just like his kid in a candy store here for Pistola. He's got the rockets, he's got the overshield, he's got the bulldog. The only thing he hasn't got, Andy, at the moment is anyone to shoot.
He's going to actually drop that Bulldog and instead go for the Mangler there, and a little bit of a Rocket Mangler combo here. One thing I want to point out is Optic Gaming time and time again prioritizing this Rocket side of the map. Onset, you highlighted it in some earlier events as well. They really make sure, as he has a grapple in hand as well, they really make sure to keep Rockets around the Rocket side. It has paid off for them.
Yeah, Pistola just clearing out his side of the base at the moment, and Rayne will actually take him down, and well, the trade won't come in immediately, although a teammate did pick up that kill. So KingNick now trying to play a little bit defense on the eUnited side of things. And I have to say, defensively, after what was a very, very shaky start from eUnited, they managed to stabilize here. Now we're back to our fight for mid-map control.
It's a good team shot there from the side of Optic, but it's a flank from RyaNoob. He's the one that ends up with the Bulldog in hand. So what looked like it was going to be a pretty convincing Optic opening doesn't translate to any flags on the board, Onset.
Yeah, it's been just an attritional start to this one. APG now having a difficult fight against KingNick. Tries to get one of those dynamo grenades off to do as much damage as he could, but two players have fallen mid-map here for Optic Gaming, so this is an opportunity for eUnited to just move up a little bit. However, Pistola with that kill on Spartan might just slow things down, as he has some beautiful angles now, and also three players in front of him on the crosshairs. Rayne in the 1v1, and some great shots from Rayne just to back Ola down and make him play his life.
Great play from Ola there. Even though he was down a shot, he could have just scurried away to bottom Rockets, but instead he stays and fights as long as he wants to do extra damage to Rayne on the pillars, knowing his teammate's going to clean that up, and he still exits the fight in time to stay alive bottom Rockets. It's plays like that that really make the difference here from the Optic side.
Well, TriPPPeY moving in now with that grapple, and with the kills going down to Optic Gaming and the positions they find themselves in. Spartan's only just come off the respawn, and that flag is already into the bar. So if eUnited find themselves on the receiving end of a couple of slays here, this could be the first flag of our restart going in, which would give Optic Gaming a 2-1 lead.
Ooh, TriPPPeY actually uses the grapple to get out and stay alive. Was wondering if we were going to see an attempt at a grapple grab there, but TriPPPeY tries to just narrowly stay alive bottom mid. He will get taken down, so the grapple is out of this run for now.
I mean, what a defensive play from eUnited. They were completely wiped inside of their base. The flag was moved halfway across the map, and yet eUnited are still here and still surviving and still have their flag back at home. So we're tied up at 0-0, and you have to say that's a little bit of a misplay from Optic Gaming, knowing where the spawns were going to be coming in and just not being able to quite coordinate themselves well enough to pick them up in unison.
Grapple in the hands of Rayne for just a second. He will fall, though, as Optic will maintain control of their bar and bridge. And one thing we should point out, I mean, you called it perfectly, Onset, a little bit of lack of coordination on that run. TriPPPeY's going to have these rocks and start to make his way down the Rocket side of the map, but it's actually going to be KingNick that was aware of that. We got to highlight a few players right now, because already on the board I was about to highlight APG and Spartan, but guess what? The first player that hits the 10 kill mark, unsurprisingly, it's Lucid.
Sometimes you just can't help but talk about him. He just announced it himself to every single game at the moment. APG trying to survive in the treehouse and just playing his head glitch angle so well, and just buying time for his team to move up, and gets the beat down off as well. So Rayne has had to work so hard for that kill onto APG, which unfortunately for him means he's going to take a bit of time to get back into the respawn screen. But that, again, is an example of creating space, as Lucid is creating space himself by flying in. However, he's going to fly into a green gun, and Rayne, that overshield will be taken out of the game almost as quickly as it was introduced.
Yeah, KingNick using that green gun. To tell you the truth, I have no idea what that green gun actually hit. Did it hit a teammate? Did it hit the OV? Lord knows, but it took out the overshield in the end. So eUnited going to be happy with the way that they handled that play. But as you take a look at the kills category in the top left, Optic has really started to outslay their opponents. For a while, it was all APG. He was the first one to hit the 6 kill mark, and all of his teammates were right around the 3 and 4 mark. But TriPPPeY and Lucid now both at 11 and 11, tied up with kills.
Lucid with an assault rifle in his hands, and it seems like he's always got something up his sleeve. Clutch was talking about how he thinks he's one of the best players for scavenging the map for weapons and really taking advantage of the Halo Infinite sandbox. And you're seeing another example of it here, trying to help out a teammate bottom middle. Unfortunately, he will be taken down due to some grenades and a little bit of focus fire coming in from eUnited. But look at this, Pistola, even with teammates falling, is still putting pressure onto the eUnited base.
I mean, it was so much confidence from him. He just hops up with the commando, not afraid to pop right into the enemy's tree for a second. Now just going to wait and bait as his teammates also get some additional angles.
Commando in hand. Kill to add to the collection as well. Zola will pick up one. APG trying to win an important 1v1 and forces that player down. However, Spartan's going to pop back through the window like an uninvited guest. I managed to pick up the kill. TriPPPeY will chase it down though. So 2 dead for eUnited here, but no one really in position to look at a flag grab right now for Optic Gaming. Spartan with the Mangler is going to beat the Bulldog in that close range encounter.
It's a big win. You saw that TriPPPeY had just put away the Bulldog split second, and that gave the opening for Spartan to actually come in with the Mangler, which would have, you have to guess, lost the battle otherwise against the Bulldog. And for that exact reason, he actually swaps out the Bulldog into his own hand and can't get away in the hut. All eyes on the overshield now.
Yeah, can't get away in the hut, but did he create enough space pushing up into the Optic base for that overshield to go to eUnited? Looks like it was, but with everyone falling around him, you feel a little bit sorry for RyaNoob right now as 3 green Spartans are charging after him to eliminate him and take him out, and that's exactly what's happened. And that's not the first time, unfortunately, RyaNoob has had a power-up and just been hunted down by Optic Gaming.
You could even say that about eUnited and getting power-ups, right? If you think back to the Aquarius match, it was really a matter of them getting those camos and not being able to convert on them. And Optic Gaming is entirely fine with letting that camo go, or that overshield. In this opinion, the shots from APG look great, but they are just prioritizing the melt on the power-ups so well. We'll have to see, though. Just as a reminder, if you're just joining us here, this is the winner's semifinals, Optic against eUnited. Optic up 2-0 here in the series, but the question is, which team's gonna be able to win this game number 3? And an aggregate score from the restart. 1 flag on the board apiece, but these teams are essentially tied up in terms of score.
TriPPPeY just commanding top rockets at the moment, doing a lot of damage, putting a lot of good shots in. RyaNoob's going to be challenging finally, and there will be a player, KingNick, who managed to traverse behind him to give him a little bit of a shake-up. KingNick now will swap over to his POV. As he's going to grapple. I haven't quite nailed that one yet, Andy. There's a few times I've seen that happen, and now he's going to pay. His APG will put him into the dirt.
I think it's the 4th time we've seen the... Ooh, nice little melee there with Bulldog play from APG. He'll stay alive, bottom rockets. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I agree, no one has quite nailed. I think it's the 4th time we've seen that on broadcast. I don't think we've seen it pulled off in official tournament play on our screens, being able to grapple across the side of the vents on top rocks.
Rayne going to pick up 1, and Rayne just playing his life at the moment, but going to be taken down here by TriPPPeY. Another player going to be challenging TriPPPeY up on that high ground. It seems like eUnited are now kind of skirmishing for control a little bit better. And speaking of skirmishing, while all of this is going on, Spartan's got a flag in hand, and eUnited take the lead in this game. 2-1 now overall. Reminder to everyone who might just joined us, we did have a 1-1 flag game before we had to restart. So that first flag on the board in this game is going to mean 2-1 overall.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy with that run. Look at the shots from Spartan staying alive against APG as well. Both of them trying to peek. Eventually, Spartan will get cleaned up, but some great battles going down here. And one thing I was going to talk about during that eUnited run on set is the fact that Optic Gaming continues to hold down Rocket side, and specifically bottom rockets. They do that in Slayer as well. But in that example, despite getting those kills bottom rockets, that doesn't mean a whole lot if the enemy is running your flag truck. eUnited now leading in this game.
Rayne weak. APG makes him pay for a few seconds. Now APG on this little wrap around will pick up the double kill, and Optic Gaming is starting to swarm inside of the base. The melee doesn't connect for now, and APG will finally clean that kill up. So that's APG picking up 3 essentially back-to-back kills, and now looking to continue his reign of terror as he picks up the killing spree now. Spartan's trying to challenge him, but you do not challenge APG when he's feeling himself.
The way that Optic is keeping each other alive in the back of their base and really anchored by APG's performance there is absolutely incredible. They had 3 players alive. APG no shield several times, time and time again. This is now his 3rd time. KingNick's in a world of hurt in the hut, and that's such a great run from Optic. We'll have to see if they can continue it, though.
APG maybe thinking about a little flag touch here just to drag a couple of eUnited players back. One of them is going to be RyaNoob. RyaNoob with the grapple, and just about manages to turn that one into his favor. The Bulldog certainly going to help him out as eUnited will manage to once again put up a very solid defensive stand. But it was a little bit messy for them. But to be honest with you, that flag being at home, I think they're more than happy to clean up that mess.
Yeah, they can finally take a breath. The way that APG played that was pretty perfect. You could kind of tell by the way he got a little bit of a slow turn that maybe he didn't mean to drop off the top of tree in that engagement there. Instead, he falls down and takes so long to reset his aim onto the player's head. So it felt like maybe he was hoping to stay up top and just backed off of the top of tree just a little bit there. In the end, not sure if it would have converted because the players from eUnited were there.
Yeah, I felt every single pellet of that Bulldog there from Lucid. That hit hard as he moved in. KingNick going to fall down to Lucid as well. Complete bar control here for Optic Gaming, and that's one of the secrets here of getting a clean flag run going. Even with 3 players alive for eUnited, you can see that those lanes have been opened up. The overshield has been picked up by APG ahead of him as well. So now it's a case of fighting back through your flag. Spartan's going to be challenging APG and will win that fight alongside RyaNoob. But here comes the cavalry here for Optic Gaming. The flag is down inside of those doubles doors, and the nades will clear the way. And now Pistola has to go huge and grabs it with the grapple. That's his best Scorpion impression for Mortal Kombat, but is it going to be enough?
Ola was the only player alive. You saw 3 dead for Optic. He grapples the flag all the way back up. What can Lucid and team do off of the respawn to maybe keep this run alive? Great work from TriPPPeY and Lucid there. They're going to try to keep this run going.
Desperation from RyaNoob and the rest of eUnited, though. They're trying to force their way in, but here's APG. He started this thing, and he's going to finish it as well. We got a tie game.
Talk about a hero moment from Pistola. He's all the way on the flag. The pressure is coming in front doors. The man grapples it all the way up to his flag box, and they're able to cap. Here we are tied 1-1, 2-2, of course, in aggregate score.
Back and forth. This game keeps on going. Lucid wins the 1v1. Almost expect to say every single time you're on his POV. KingNick taken down to no shields. 2 players receiving damage from the battle rifle of Lucid for now. RyaNoob trying to peek, shoulder shimmy around that corner. But Lucid just staying alive. I mean, such a nuisance here as that overshield is going to be popping in around 10 seconds. But there are the dynamos that's going to deny him moving forward.
Yeah, nice shots here from Ola, but they do lose the battle bottom middle, and they lose another player as well. So right now, a momentary 3v1. APG last player alive as RyaNoob's going to make his push. Look at the time on the clock here. About to head to sudden death overtime.
We are going to sudden death indeed. I've got to respect RyaNoob putting the sneakers on and trying to just straight line towards that flag to get a pull to extend that game. But here we go. Overtime. Next flag wins.
And what timing there from Optic. They had no time on the clock to get that cap in. And once again, we're going to see it in the highlights package, folks. It's that grapple play from Pistola to bring the flag into scoring position.
Lucid just kind of overlooking teammates at the moment. Pistola going to do what he can, but 2 players from eUnited have flown down bottom middle. Overshield is still going to be available, and Lucid loses the fight as Spartan will be stood tallest on top of his balcony. Where is that overshield, though? That's the question. Where is TriPPPeY? There's TriPPPeY. There's the overshield. Both questions answered, one after the other.
A little bit of a messy exchange there, and they will take off a fair bit of that overshield, but a few missed melees. Not going to be what they wanted to see on the eUnited side. TriPPPeY with a sliver of overshield and rockets in hand in the tree, though.
Only 2 to work with, though, as we know, is KingNick. Even though the kill does go down, I'm pretty sure that eUnited are going to be happy with the positions they took to make sure those rockets were not too much of an influence.
They really played it perfectly. They did not die in tree, which was huge as a starter. That means they continued holding tree, and the fact that a player flanked around to rocket side pillars to clean up the front door and force that rocket trade, like you said, eUnited essentially won that battle. That could have gone very differently for them.
So now for the first time, a little bit of calm here on Bazaar. It's been constant action. As KingNick now is trying to stay alive, having just won that 1v1 in his hut. However, the grenades are just flying, and it's so difficult to survive in these corners, especially with those brute grenades, Andy. We know how they can clean out rooms.
The spikers and the dynamo nades both. We hear players talking about them each day. The fact that once you're in hut, it is pretty much game over at a good night once you're in the hut and a dynamo nade or a spike grenade comes flying in. Those are really the weapons of choice to clear out that really pesky part of the map.
APG alive on the bar as KingNick tries to apply the pressure to Optic Gaming. eUnited do have control of the map at the moment. You can see them pushed up, but it's all about getting that first kill here. We're about trying to find that 1-0 trade and maybe just pick up that overshield. There it is. KingNick manages to get it. Now they have the opportunity to move forward, but with Spartan falling, it's not going to be quite as simple.
That's a freebie overshield, but once again, Optic was ready to essentially melt it right away. Look at it, only 3% left. It's already off. There goes the overshield. So Optic doing so well. Great shots, by the way, from KingNick. Somehow stays alive despite that nade flying as well. So maybe an opportunity for eUnited to push with 3 dead on Optic.
Yeah, great survivability there. Rayne now trying to put the pressure on for eUnited, being the furthest player forward. He manages to work with a teammate as the rest of eUnited now swarm. Now, can they slay on their way back? You can see how the Optic Gaming players are all overextended here, Andy. Essentially, if Optic do not win this battle in the eUnited base, this will be a flag cap.
Look at the management there. Both players heads on a swivel, knowing that a player might be spawning behind them. They immediately get the kill, so they maintain the man advantage. 2 dead once again and 2 fresh. This should be an eUnited crab.
This will be the final flag as well, and we will be going towards that game 4 as we are in sudden death. APG still alive though, and maybe APG can do something special. Look at the return coming in though. Lucid and TriPPPeY diving around, but they do get taken down. Rayne recognized the situation. It will be Spartan who runs it in, drops it off, and eUnited will close out game number 3 here, showing that Optic Gaming can bleed.
And they do it narrowly, right? As we get a fast slam into the eUnited roster, taking a look at that beautiful eUnited armor, but they do it pretty narrowly with the way that those rockets came in. The rockets come in to kill one carrier, and they almost kill the flag capper. It's a more difficult rocket that would have to hit the ceiling or the bottom of the flag stand, but there you see the players on your screen. They will take game number 3. And Onset, to be honest, once again, as simply as fans of Halo Infinite, that's what you want to see. We want to see these two teams putting up a fight against each other. It's a 3-2 win for eUnited in game number 3. They will force a game number 4.
Now we start to look at the stats, and we also start to think of those little seeds we were sowing a few moments ago before this game got underway, with eUnited winning and sending it to these next 2 game types. Maybe there is a little glimmer of hope for them to turn this series around, but Lucid, once again, the standout player for Optic Gaming. On the other side, though, I mentioned him, Spartan, 29-2 for Sparty.
Great numbers from him. Players on the other side putting up some good numbers as well, but in the end, it was all that coordination, and doesn't it really come down to timing on set on Bazaar CTF? KingNick staying alive as we take a look at damage dealt as well. Lucid the standout again at breaking 8,500 damage, but really we also have to talk about the way that eUnited played that last cap. KingNick staying alive with that bottom middle push, and that gave them the 3-man advantage, and also spinning around, killing TriPPPeY in the back of the base again. Let's take a look at the highlights, because that was just such a damn good game.
It certainly was. This was the opening break where we saw Lucid moving in before we had our reset, the triple, and just for a second I was like, we cannot be spoiled this early on with an overkill. Unfortunately, he didn't manage to get it, but it was pretty darn close. This was the first flag actually being run home by Optic Gaming, as we saw it just in the background of that little third-person cam. And that was Optic up at 1, but eUnited always felt like they were in this one, Andy. Even though we saw some crazy stops, it was objective efficiency, which has always been the staple of teams that have the name RyaNoob involved.
And look at that. I mean, if you remember, this now we're back into the restart as well, which is what you're seeing here, the second half of that game, and it was still Optic Gaming with really great control in the back of this, but here was that 3 dead in overtime.
Spartan managed to get that flag in as APG managed to just pick up these kills that we saw, and TriPPPeY moving that flag, and this was the beautiful double kill from APG, just managing to clear the way for his teammates to run that one home. But this was the desperation play. Pistola, hands wide, eyes wide as well.
Look at the flag.
Getting that touch.
Look at the flag on the corner of that tin roof. That thin tin roof manages to hold up the flag, and thank God for Optic fans, because it really paved the way for them to bring that one in as well. But in the end, it was eUnited who will write the history books on that game, and they will take game number 3 and send us to a game number 4. That was an amazing CTF Bazaar, one of the most back and forth that we've seen there on set.
Yeah, I never thought I'd hear you say the words thin tin roof with such excitement, but here we are. Halo Infinite, it's new to everybody, right? Let's look ahead of ourselves now. Let's look at Oddball Streets, Andy, because we sowed these seeds, like I mentioned, that eUnited will be looking at these final 2 game types and thinking, hey, we kind of fancy these ones, especially Oddball Streets. I feel like this is a game type where 15 seconds, 10 seconds of extra ball time by someone being a little bit sneaky and managing to avoid the attentions of the likes of Optic Gaming's players can win you games. So Optic, I've got to be very, very careful here. Even though they only need 1, they lose this one, we go to a game 5. Anything could happen.
One player staying alive on Oddball Streets can be the difference maker. Now that applies to all of Halo Infinite and in a lot of game types in previous Halos as well. But just to put it in perspective, if you're the last player alive and you happen to be alive in the enemy's base on Pit Flag, a huge map, it's much less of a factor. Winning a single kill here on Oddball Streets as the last player alive can truly change the trajectory of the next holds, of the entire round, and of the entire game. So just like you said, every single kill is really going to matter, even more so. eUnited is going to be really happy they have these next 2 game types, and Optic can't dwell on it, but they're probably thinking that they really should have won that game 3 and closed this out in 3 games.
Well, just some more updates for you as well. We were talking about the Sentinels X-Set series that was tied up to 1-1. Sentinels went 2-1 up in that series, so Sentinels looking good. And on the other side of things, I'll tell you what, this is very interesting. 2-1 Inconceivable over Cloud9 at the moment. So 2-1 to Inconceivable, reminding us all of exactly what they can do. But back to the action at hand as we see Optic Gaming versus eUnited restarting here as we head towards Streets Oddball.
And this is going to be the test between these two. Can eUnited send us to a game 5? Maybe even reverse Optic, or will Optic end it here? We're into the action on game number 4.
Enough from the point of view of TriPPPeY here. However, he's going to be taking a lot of splash damage from a lot of grenades. Rayne gets the first pick of the game. RyaNoob will get the second as well, and Rayne will slide in to get the third. APG did manage to get the rockets momentarily, but as you say quite rightly, 4 dead. Ball control here to eUnited. The perfect start for EU.
Spartan is going to set tires with these rockets. I love it. Someone will come eventually. He knows that someone will come, or he'll have the opportunity to flank, and here comes the opportunity. He's going to give his team a lot of information. There's one. There's a second one on the B stairs as well, and we'll see if he can get two. Not able to do it. Lucid cleans it up.
Yeah, the only problem here for eUnited is even while he was patrolling and trying to get some kills with those rockets, his teammates were falling across the map. So Optic doing a pretty good job, to be honest, to break the hold before it even really got started. 2-4 for Optic Gaming as eUnited do try and do something magical. However, speaking of magic, Lucid with the thrust stays alive after the double. I mean, that's just nuts. That kind of play, not many players can make.
No one's even really shooting back there. And one thing I'm surprised by, Spartan was watching tires to B. And I have to point this out because, as you heard me say, players will eventually come, but they didn't come because they actually rotated the ball straight out of ball spawn into tram, and they went for a fast tram setup. That kind of screwed Spartan because Spartan's in the tires with rockets. The entire side of Optic had already pushed B stairs and B street, and that let them not actually utilize the rocket launcher for early control. I'm surprised they didn't sit neons and watch spawns and maybe go for a tower rotation based on where their rocket player was. So if you ask me, that's a little bit of miscoordination and miscommunication from the eUnited side.
I'll have to see if they can put that one right, but for now they do have the ball in their hands, and they also are about to go into the lead. Lucid with the Sentinel beam in hand is looking to heat some people up from the inside out. And just can't find any targets at the moment. 4 alive on both sides. The Spartan does fall first. So eUnited a player down, and here comes the microwave. There's the kill. Lucid, TriPPPeY, all falling or taking names with them. As now it'll be 2 dead for eUnited. The ball in the hands of TriPPPeY as Optic Gaming will be scoring.
Yep, Lucid just going to go ghost jump up into top C. Going to be able to hold that down. Watch B stairs as well. That's a nice little jump for you to take away from this broadcast. Make sure you implement that into your gameplay because you can see just how important that is across many different scenarios here. Continuing to rack up ball time is Optic, and some nades off the pillar as well for Lucid. Going to make sure that the front of the base might be clear, or at the very worst, weak as well.
Look at this help coming in as well. TriPPPeY gets the beat down, but the ability and the speed at which Lucid reacted to those comms was very, very impressive. There's the thrust back into KingNick to pick up yet another kill to add to the Halo Infinite collection for Lucid. And I'll tell you what, he's going to need a couple of binders by the time he's done.
If you didn't think that the Sentinel beam, or the microwave as we affectionately call it, was good enough to be used in competitive play, let the way that Lucid is using it prove us all wrong. The way that he also combined that with thrust, you can close that gap so well. Once again, just utilizing, as we said, the whole sandbox, and in a way that is a little bit more efficient than a lot of other pro players at this stage in the game.
Pistola just showing presence everywhere at the moment. TriPPPeY picking up kills, and Pistola's just baiting himself so brilliantly here. This is one of those things that doesn't get talked about enough. We're talking about Lucid, we're talking about TriPPPeY, but Pistola's survivability to get all eyes on him and stay alive through the end of it is so, so impressive. Unfortunately for him, he does get taken down in this circumstance, but look at the rotation now coming out of Optic Gaming. Moving that ball towards PD to try and get a different kind of setup and scrape up those extra ball time.
2 dead for each side for just a moment, but it will end up in 3 dead for eUnited with 2 fresh spawners. So RyaNoob's gonna have to make a play here if he wants to set up his team for a little bit of control.
Ball carrier killed.
All will be down for the moment. 2 players from Optic Gaming will also fall as eUnited now try and make their charge up the Neon Street. APG picks up 1 though. Pistola will be weak, and Spartan's just trying to work out how he wants to move at the moment. KingNick's trying to lead the way. I think RyaNoob managed to escape with rockets, but as I say that, it will be traded out as Lucid will fall alongside him. So 2 dead here for Optic Gaming, but no real control on the map as maybe Rayne getting that kill in the feed and Spartan picking up yet another will give EU the opportunity they need.
I think we were all thinking the same thing. That ball had not been picked up in a very long time, and the ball reset does come in. So Spartan's able to win a pretty big battle back A, and they're able to just reset a bit and focus on this push as they get out to Neons and B. But maybe an opportunity that we should have seen some time on the board from eUnited with that 2 dead and a momentary 3 dead on the side of Optic.
I'm going to have to ask you to continue casting, Andy, because unfortunately I've lost the stream for 2 seconds, but I'll be back as soon as I can.
You bet. Also, remember to grab that stream in Discord too. You can probably watch it through that second backup link as well. As we take a look here, Ola just staying alive bottom middle as we take a look. 69 to 37 momentarily. And Onset, you let me know when you're back here with that live feed in this remote setup, of course. And Ola going to be the one pushing towards the back of the base. And Onset, I'll give you a visual description of what you're seeing on screen here and try to paint the picture for you, if you will, as we see Ola staying alive here at the back of base, still doing so well and just obnoxious with that drop shield.
I tell you what, Andy,
stay alive here. 71.
He certainly is looking obnoxious. And I'm back. Don't worry, I've got the feedback up, which is fantastic. Apologies, everybody. Andy doing a wonderful job of just keeping us entertained as I got my feedback up because, yeah, you know, remote broadcast. It's one of those things. But eUnited with that ball in hand for now, and they do have a little bit of work to do here, but 3 players from Optic Gaming spawning out is going to give them at least 10 seconds or so. It's all about holding off this push, though. As they can see, they're going to pick up that first kill on TriPPPeY, and first kill in Oddball, always vital when you got that ball in hand.
And also that double kill vital for Rayne. That's a great play, but who else but Lucid on the B Street just pushing up and picking up kills of his own here now, also challenging all the way from the A balcony and using the thrust to just fly across the map and be everywhere he needs to be. He just went from B arcade to front A and now challenging front C and just doing so much damage. There's a reason that he is in a completely different category, not just in terms of skill that we've talked about, but damage every single game. Also picks up a rocket on Spartan.
He certainly does. It just, every time I'm watching Lucid play, it's like he's playing Fiesta and everyone else is spawning with BR. It's just ridiculous. He's always using a different weapon, a different piece of the sandbox to get an advantage. Here's another example of it. There's the Bulldog, going to be used to take down 1. 2 players falling for eUnited. TriPPPeY with that ball in hand as well, and it's starting to tick away, and it's looking like this might be round 1 to Optic.
I mean, look at Lucid. As we, just like you said, look at the time, 98, 99. That'll be 100. That'll be the round. Optic Gaming closes it out. And look at the slaying category. 16 kills for Lucid. Nobody else even getting past the 12 mark.
Yeah, nobody else even close. As now Optic Gaming move within just 1 more round of this oddball game to close out the series in a 3-1 fashion. But it does give us a little bit more of an opportunity, this best of 5, to see how teams match up against each other. And there's not too much of a gulf of class between the two, I would say, at the moment. But Optic Gaming, just those little moments that are so valuable at this top level play seem to be falling in their favor at the moment. Spartan is going to be pushing up alongside RyaNoob. He'll be getting the kill. So this is going to be another good start here for eUnited. The question is, can they get a hold down and pick up time before Optic can push?
RyaNoob now just patrolling on the B stairs. That really is the question. And my, oh my, did Optic ever just silence the side of eUnited? And I think everyone who's an eUnited fan in the chat as well, because we're coming into this as a pretty hype game 4, but the way they played round 1, they made it pretty clear that they intend on ending this series in 4 games.
4 dead for eUnited. Where is that oddball, though? It's still up in Tram. Lucid's going to spawn there, so he's going to be picking up that oddball, and that's kind of gifted a setup here. Although I say gifted, it's still hard work from eUnited to break, as Optic did take all 4 players down very, very quickly. Pistola this time with the Sentinel beam in hand is going to be firing some shots across, and now his job is to watch this cross. Just to get some shots of those 2 players, but staying alive, important for Pistola here, but more important, Andy, getting that information to his teammates.
Yeah, Lucid drops the ball. He's going to instead push out here with APG to try to make something happen if he stares. They both get tagged up with nades, though, so this is another opportunity for EU to put a little bit more time on the board, especially if they get this second kill.
25 to 16 to score. United with the ball in hand as well, and still with some semblance of control. Pistola will get the trade inside a Tram, but trades are fine as long as you're the closest spawners to that oddball. For now, APG's just trying to survive. KingNick still inside of that Tram station. RyaNoob also on the respawn. That's kind of spotted him out as well, and RyaNoob threading the needle with those bullets through the handrail to take him down.
2 players that have known each other a very long time. They're APG and RyaNoob. RyaNoob being an absolute pest on the bottom of C stairs. And if you're APG, the one player you don't want to see challenging you through that little crack in the railing is RyaNoob. Nice little exchange between those 2, as we will still stay pretty early on in the game here. It's another grab, though, for Optic Gaming as they look to tie it up.
Now look where these respawns come in. The communication, TriPPPeY blocking all these PD spawns, which means that they're going to be able to lock down this A tower. The fight is going to be on B Street, as you see players trying to flood through. Spartan trying to do what he can, but look at APG recognizing the game situation, recognizing that was where the hole in the setup was, and helping a teammate to close it.
Maybe a miscommunication once again. It's a good idea from Spartan to fly into PD, to slide in. However, look how easy it was for them to send 2 players down to PD, TriPPPeY included, get the kill, and no one else is in position. Rayne is rotating back to C. There needs to be communication from the eUnited side on whether they were pushing PD there or going back. And now maybe circumstances happened to play out so that Rayne couldn't get there, but they need to be a little bit more cohesive in their pushes.
Another update from the bracket very, very quickly. Inconceivable versus C9 is now tied up at 2-2. So that one is going to a game 5. But as we jump back into this game, it's looking like Optic, they're going to have their work cut out for them in this second round now. So all 4 players do fall. So eUnited with a chance to claw back that 10-point or so deficit and maybe turn this into a lead.
Now here's the question. How does eUnited play this? How do they ensure that they get the first kills? And how do they work together here? This is tough for Spartan. He's in a battle there with 3 different players. So eUnited, though, trading out. And if they can hold this, they might get a lead here.
I like this play from Rayne as well. He's going to flank through bottom middle, knowing he's got time to do so with that respawn going to be coming in for Pistola. He's not going to get shot in the back for around 5 or 6 seconds. Lucid taken down, and there's the double, an easy double, and that's the movement I was talking about, finding the angles that are going to be left available as Optic Gaming do try and force their way towards that oddball. Wow. And Rayne working so well with the rest of his teammates on eUnited to pick up these kills.
Back-to-back doubles, it might as well be an overkill in terms of points on the board. Great stuff from Rayne here on set, just like you said, the routes that he chose. Now KingNick has the rockets here at B. We'll see if he can connect with these. No! Not able to get anyone, and that's maybe a big misplay as Optic's now going to push.
They are indeed. It gives them the opening they're looking for. Here's Rayne, though. He's got the Stalker rifle, and he's slowing things down. RyaNoob also has that Bulldog, but Lucid picking up one, and APG is going to break the setup here of eUnited, and even though they do have that lead now, APG is going to be a thorn in the side, but a vital kill from Spartan inside of PD.
You have to wonder what happens there if KingNick instead just pulls the rockets back into tires, maybe sits A court or PD for a moment, rotates them to front A. There were a lot of options there, and it's easy for us to be armchair players here in the casting booth, of course. So much credit to these players for having to make the decisions in the moment, but as analysts, we have to look at that and think, what if KingNick played that differently? Does that change the outcome of this game?
2 players coming off the respawn here for eUnited. It looks like TriPPPeY wants to make the move on that ball, and he's just tried to delay for a few seconds to hope the grenades would come in a little bit sooner, but unfortunately the timing couldn't have been more perfect for eUnited as he slid to collect that oddball, just took the damage. And wasn't able to get that oddball where he wanted to get it on that neon street, and now it's just a battle. I like the flood coming in here from eUnited, and TriPPPeY and Ola, they're kind of stuck in the back of A, and it looks like recognition of that from eUnited. They've rotated the ball away to Tram now.
And they continue scoring as well. Can they get these first kills? It's a great angle from Spartan on bottom neons. Needs to prioritize his life here and stay alive as long as he can.
That's going to kill on APG as well. So Lucid and both Pistola have now managed to sneak past enemy lines, but it's going to be up to the players inside a Tram here with a little bit of help from Rayne to clear these final players out. TriPPPeY will shut down Rayne, and now KingNick's left in a little bit of a precarious situation. Will have to go for the play ball.
It's a perfect play ball. He goes front C. He gets a little bit of extra time on the clock. It was a 2v2 there, and it paves the way for his team to continue pushing.
Oh, Lucid managed to win an important battle on those stairs. 87-42. The score in this game. Rocket's going to be collected, though, by Optic Gaming. You can see Rayne trying to do so much damage to so many different targets. APG will be taken down with those rockets, but players just falling everywhere at the moment. Spartan last player alive here. Rockets down at the front of the base. Ola with ball in hand.
It was Ola versus Spartan. Ola goes for the ball. He does not grab Rocket's front C. Makes the decision to bring that all the way back up to B. If I'm not mistaken, Spartan probably grabbed the Rockets and just scurried away to Neon. So still back and forth between these two teams. Only 13 points left for eUnited.
Somehow RyaNoob's ended up with those Rockets. He's picked up a double kill as well. Pistola trying to desperately nade and keep them off of the ball. This is starting to get a little bit desperate for Optic Gaming in this round, as KingNick takes a lovely position up. All players going to be flying now on the driveway from Tram towards B. A big hold here for eUnited. If they manage to hold on for 3 more seconds, then they will close out this game. And I tell you what, Andy, it's 1-1 now on rounds. This is looking very, very interesting.
Looking very, very good. Would we want it any other way here, as the team's a little bit slow to start there? You wonder if maybe we were seeing something strange, but maybe just a little bit of comms there. Team's getting ready to jump in. So here we are in round number 3. eUnited answers back convincingly there with as much flack as I gave them for those plays with the Rockets. They still managed to win that game pretty handily with some very good, less traditional holds there with the arcade hold to close out the game.
APG swiveling around to hit that rocket, but look at the kills early on here. APG left on his lonesome with one more rocket to play with, and he's going to be spotted out as well. He's not going to hit with the rocket, but he manages to get the damage done and the kill secured. But while all this is going on, the most important piece of the puzzle for any team playing Oddball is having that ball in your control, as well as Spartan laying down so much cover fire.
I was going to say, look at the amount of damage that Spartan's doing. He's winning BR battles like that, also just continuing to hold things down from Cafe, which, by the way, is not the position that offers the most cover on the map, and stays alive as long as he can, paves the way maybe for his team to push and get a little bit more control, or at the very least contest here.
How is APG coming back into this fight, having been one shot for so long as well? His survivability there has given Optic Gaming the chance to now funnel eUnited through the Neon Street. Lucid trying to do what he can bottom middle. Spartan will re-engage after coming off of his respawn. RyaNoob picks up another as well. So this is the opening now that eUnited need, but this is a little bit clustered at the back of A here. And both teams cannot get a clear hold on the ball and cannot get a clear rotation either. RyaNoob's going to pick up the ball, though. That's going to cause some distraction. Now you've got the setup here for eUnited. You can see that Rayne is holding down tires, and the rest of the team are spread out accordingly.
It's the full A-hold, and once again, at this moment, you need to make sure you're getting the first kills, and that is big because they don't just get the first one, they get the first two. It's a 4v2 momentarily. This should mean continued time for eUnited.
What eUnited need to do here is survive. Don't have to over-challenge these kills because they will come to them eventually. Lucid, last player in the cafeteria, will be falling. So now the last two players were the respawners from Optic Gaming, trying to get across the map. They do pick up one, but this ball is in the hands of KingNick, and they're about to cross that 50-point threshold.
That's right, that was 2 dead, 2 fresh, 1 again, and momentarily 3 dead for Optic. It's a drop of the ball from eUnited to help with Rockets. Love that play, but it does look like they've been picked up, so we'll keep an eye on Rockets, but regardless, a monster lead here for eUnited.
Lucid with the Rockets, trying to do a little bit of splash damage off the roof. Rayne's going to be weak as well, so we'll pick up one, but a 1 for 2 with the Rockets. I think that eUnited not going to be too concerned about that, more concerned about that ball time. Stalker rifle. Going to be overlooking all of his teammates, trying to do some big damage. And one thing we've always mentioned about the Stalker rifle, you can lock down a street almost on your own if you can hit those shots.
Lucid very aware that there might be PD spawns. You could tell just how intently he's watching that area of the map. He'll engage across the map, but also being very aware that there might be a push coming in from B or tires.
Now gets that information. Little warning shot there as RyaNoob is going to fly through cafeteria, and that's going to put Lucid under pressure as are those grenades, taking down to no shields whatsoever. Somehow manages to still do damage, even though a little gust of wind might knock him back into the respawn screen. Look at this from Lucid. Now he's on the flank, and now he picks up 2. Lucid, elusive as ever.
I mean, completely outplaying, outthinking, and outmaneuvering his opponents. You watched what you just saw. Anyone who's played enough Halo Infinite, that was perfectly timed the way that he just went around to the side of A, on the courtyard side, sits on the awning for a second, helps with the kill at PD, loops behind both of those players at elbow, and just making that look way too easy while maintaining shields the entire time. Optic going to continue scoring, and now look at the scoreboard.
I think against Lucid is like chasing a ghost a lot of the time. You just don't know where he is. You cannot get your eyes on him. And at this point, you're not even sure if he exists. APG, look at this rotation coming in from him as well. He's last player alive. TriPPPeY just come off the respawn. And it seems like they've actually managed with that rotation to get one of those transitional holds I was talking about. TriPPPeY, big kill from him.
Definitely. 2 dead for both sides here. A 2v2 on this push for eUnited to try to get back into the back of Tram.
Rocket launcher coming up as well. RyaNoob trying to put pressure onto Pistola. No pressure felt by Pistola. He's been doing this far too long to feel pressure in those situations. Perfect shots. There's a back smack, and single-handedly almost, Pistola is clearing out Tram.
Look at the perfect play ball, though, from Spartan, just making sure to sprint drop that ball all the way back to bottom middle. Rockets, though, in the hand of TriPPPeY here. He uses one.
Pistola haven't done all the heavy lifting inside of Tram to clear it out. Now has the ball in hand. And Optic Gaming, having lost that last round, are starting to creep towards a victory here overall, not just in this round. It's 1-1 in rounds. And TriPPPeY with this rocket should be able to at least pick up one. There it is. KingNick did manage to get a kill onto APG, which has forced maybe a little bit of an opening for eUnited. 2 for 2 now as KingNick flies over the top. But once again, look at that kill feed. Pistola picking up kills, and vital ones at that.
Certainly, and now look at the scoreboard. Optic really just poised to claim this one out as they continue to pick up kills. 2 dead again for the side of eUnited, and look at that time getting very close.
Spikes from that brute grenade are gonna peel away at TriPPPeY though. Yeah, try and thrust forward to do some damage. KingNick has managed to sneak in and break the setup here, so 2-4 for Optic Gaming. And even though if a couple of kills would have gone their way just at the end of that team fight, Optic might have been saying, hey, GG's to eUnited. eUnited have a foothold. They have a chance, but it needs to be almost perfect from here.
I don't know how RyaNoob died in the back of the base. That's surprising because that leads to now 2 dead and might become 3 dead pretty quickly for the side of eUnited, and Optic might close this out. They clear out the back of Tram, and Optic now only needing about 10 seconds to win this game.
Yeah, RyaNoob desperately trying to kill that ball carrier. Spartan took a long route to try and maybe get a flank, but Optic Gaming looks set up here. Spartan is going to be chasing shadows, just trying to get hold of that oddball. 1v1 TriPPPeY versus RyaNoob. RyaNoob will win it with a little bit of assistance. And you're right, 99 points is not enough to get the win. eUnited break, and eUnited now might be able to turn this one around.
Oh my god, it was 2 dead and 2 fresh spawners here. Optic will pick up a kill, but another kill goes to the favor of eUnited. So this one is going to go down to the wire as they hit the 90-point mark as well. eUnited could close this out.
3 dead for Optic Gaming. Pistola's the only one alive, and even though the man is magic, I'm not quite sure he's got the spell to break this one.
Oh my god.
With 99 points on the board, Optic Gaming, they can't call themselves the victors. eUnited close it out 2-1.
100-99, the comeback win in our game number 4. You could not ask for a better series to start the day. We are going to a game number 5. eUnited looking for the reverse sweep.
Kind of speechless. I
gotta be
kind of
kidding.
speechless. Well, we planted the seeds. Now we got somewhat of a tree in the back garden, Andy.
I guess this is
extremely quickly.
I guess in all fairness, this is what we asked for as we take a look at some stats from that game. My God, it's Spartan there, 41 and 30.
He's been listening. I'm telling you, Tyler's been listening. You talk about the man on a broadcast, he starts to put up the stats alongside it. 41 and 30. Well, Optic Gaming, that's one of those that you look back on and you think, how did we let that slip through our fingers? How did we let that ball out of our hands? How did we drop the ball?
And I think, amazing puns, by the way. I think we're going to see it in the highlights. Spartan was the last player alive, maybe one of the last players alive, but the only player in back tram, you saw it on your screen, chasing back C to B Street. He got the kill on the ball carrier at the 99 mark. Spartan not only goes positive 11 in that game, he essentially kept the game within reach for them, and I can't wait to see the replays of the final match. But once again, on set, Optic and eUnited just delivering in this series. It's been an amazing set of games.
Remember when people used to say that Oddball was boring? Yeah. I remember. I'm calling you out right now. This is amazing in Halo Infinite. The rounds just make it so much more of a heartbreaker or a dream maker, depending on what side of it you are. Some of these kills coming in from Lucid weren't good enough towards the end. First round did go to eUnited, and again, there was a comeback there as well, Andy.
I mean, this is so back and forth throughout this entire game. All 3 of these rounds were fantastic. It felt, in the best way, it felt like such a long game of Oddball because we saw so many epic battles. And look at Rayne, essentially those back-to-back doubles, essentially adding up to an over to get them so many points on the board. And eUnited just leading so strong out in this, as we see the round 2 there ties up the thing. Now we look at round number 3, and eUnited had such a great start here on set.
They certainly didn't, and if you're wondering why I said, oh my word, we've got a score update for you in just a few seconds, but this was the round. I mean, you're looking at it here. I mean, Pistola was playing incredible in this final round.
Here's the play.
Was breaking setups almost immediately, but this was the 1v1 here. RyaNoob just jumping up and just having the nous, the ice, whatever you want to call it, to hit that final headshot. They get the hold of that Oddball, and then KingNick with the rockets towards the end clears house. And eUnited send us to a game 5. And speaking of game 5s, Andy, do you want to deliver the news or shall I?
I think I can't speak right now. You go ahead. You deliver the news because we got a lot of surprises here.
Probably best. Just to give you some stats before I break the news. Optic, as you can see on the bottom of your screen, 8-0 on Live Fire Slayer. So maybe they're going to be feeling confident about it, but maybe not after a 100-99 loss. But the update I wanted to give you is that Inconceivable have beaten Cloud9 3-2 in a 50-38 Live Fire Slayer. So Inconceivable, welcome to the pie. That's what we want to see. This is a crazy day.
And I think we said it when we talked about it during the bracket previews when we looked at that match. Cloud9 could not afford to take that one lightly, but we don't even have time to talk about everything that just happened. We are going into our game number 5. It is Optic versus eUnited. We would not want to start this championship Thursday any other way. These two titans do not want to fall to one another in the winners semifinals. Game 5 will take it all.
That stat, though, is going to be in the minds of eUnited, I'm sure. Optic Gaming 8-0 on Live Fire Slayer. By 8-0's history, this is what we got in front of us, and a chance for eUnited now to rewrite that history book. But what a start here for Lucid. He's got his hands on a sniper rifle, and he's already managed to pick up one.
Already one in hand, and that's exactly where you want to be if you're on the side of Optic Gaming. I can't believe this has been such an amazing series just to kick off the day. By the way, welcome to everyone joining us. Thank you for hanging out with us on this Thursday evening if you're in the US, but this pressure coming in on Lucid. Has to stay alive on window as long as he can here. A few kills being exchanged here. A little bit of a slower start for this first game. Another kill does come in though for Lucid.
Yeah, Lucid's pretty simple body shot onto Rayne there, who maybe thought that he had the advantage. Doesn't get the beat down though. In that situation, APG will clean things up. So looking at the score right now, 4-3 to Optic. Also have APG with the heat wave in hand. And this is kind of a secret to success, a key to success, I think, for eUnited. You gotta keep that heat wave out of the hands of Optic. They're so good at finding routes to do damage.
And look how slow these teams are playing the Slayer. You could just tell. We talk about how that indicates always mutual respect for one another. Neither team wants to be the one making the big mistakes. After just a little bit of time of play, we are essentially netted up here. Optic with just a 1-kill lead at 5-4. This is playing pretty slowly. These teams want to make sure they don't go down by any sort of margin. They really can't afford to lose either of them at this stage in the bracket.
TriPPPeY's going to have angles onto top middle though. But you're right. There is a real feel of and trepidation from both teams at the moment, recognizing and, like you're saying, respecting that if one kill goes down and you're the first kill in a team fight, the collapse might come in very quickly and things can certainly get out of hand. Weapons are in the hands of Optic Gaming there. Like we mentioned, they have a sniper rifle, they also have the heat wave, but here comes the push now. KingNick trying to be the aggressor here for eUnited, but Lucid's got that covered. Watch.
A very nice play from Lucid. Look how he took those angles from sandbags and always isolating the angle that he is actively checking. Just such disciplined, such smart play out of Lucid here as they try to figure out how they want to make this tower push.
Lucid just kind of roaming at the moment, and he's able to do so because a couple of kills have fallen to Optic, which has created space for him to do what he does best, and that is be elusive. APG has got the camo. However, he's not been able to make too much of a play with it for now, but he has managed to make a play as far as taking attention away from his teammates, and with that they're going to pick up kills. 3 now full for eUnited. Sometimes it's not about the flashy plays, it's about taking that attention away.
What a swing from Optic. They get camo control, they get tower control. It gives them such a lead here, just like that. Heat wave as well in the hands of Ola. Perfect baiting and switching from the side of Optic. Created the space, that let them get the power up, that let them get the weapons, and they've established such a lead here early on.
Pistola trying to help out his teammate. The trade will go down in front of him. The heat wave in the hand as well will give him the beat down that he's looking for. 2 for 2 on the map, but that's 3 players now falling for Optic Gaming, and Rayne has managed to get the heat wave in his hands. I mentioned how vital this is, in my opinion, to eUnited being able to close it out this slam. The fact that the score is 15-12, and Optic have had the majority of the weapons so far, I think actually bodes quite well for EU.
It absolutely does. It's a great point, Onset. It was just 12-6, and just like that, now 17-13. eUnited has responded back so well, so confidently to maintain their composure here in really the second set of battles in this game.
Grenades are coming in, though, onto Rayne. Can they make use of the weapons in the way that Optic have? That's the question. RyaNoob will fall, though, as Ola does as well. APG on the nest. He's going to be taking some shots here from the battle rifle of Rayne, but there's a little bit of poke damage at the moment. I think you set the table absolutely perfectly, Andy. It's just respect from both teams at the moment. No one wants to poke. No one wants to prod. And nobody wants to be blamed by their teammates for being that first kill.
Yeah, no one wants to be blamed, and on the other side is TriPPPeY, who wants to start to blame with that weapon as he wants to look around and find some heads to click and see if he can pick up some kills here. Ola needs to be very careful, but he knows how to dipsy doodle and tiptoe around those pillars, that's for sure.
He's still with that sniper in his hand. He manages to get the body shot, but it's not quite the headshot. However, Lucid will turn it into a kill, and that's the most important thing. So good communication and teamwork, and with that, it's going to be camouflage and heat wave in the hands of Lucid. Now, if you wanted to pick one player to not have it, if you're an eUnited fan, it would be Lucid, who then escapes as well with the repulsor. The man is just light years ahead at the moment.
You said it earlier, elusive Lucid is no better way maybe to describe this guy. With what he's doing right now, goes for the horizontal pivot, back to the vertical there, and just when you think you have Lucid dead to rights, he just repulsor camos heat waves back up the top middle and just starts running circles around your team. This is what Optic was waiting to do. Now they're up by 8.
Yeah, that's the difference maker. Lucid getting that combo. And eUnited being staggered on those spawns has given us the difference of 7 kills now between the two teams. And it's going to be up to eUnited now to try and get some weapons in their hands, try and get the camo in their hands as well, because if they can do that, It's going to be their only way back into this game. Ola's going to pick up one in the feed. TriPPPeY as well, as we see Rayne with the repulsor jumping up to top middle, but TriPPPeY's not going to let that kill get away. He'll be taken down as well, and all of a sudden Optic are starting to heat up.
KingNick makes sure to stay alive there. It does well and needs to make sure to keep this close. Still a 6-kill game. That's not, keep in mind that this game is not out of hand just yet, but eUnited needs to make sure they're stepping it up and keeping this game close.
Beat down from Lucid. Trade goes down. 2-4 for Optic Gaming. This is now a 5-kill game. Stola now rotating back through the garage. Lucid's going to be spawning with him. You can see the KingNick is on our player outlines here. He might be somewhat of a thorn in the side as he's now actually going to back up, realizing that 2 players had spawned. So good communication coming in from eUnited. And in these kind of tight games, these nervous game 5 slayers, your communication has to be on point, Andy. One little misstep, it can cost you the game.
Trying to take down TriPPPeY as KingNick, and there's a good reason. TriPPPeY right now 16 and 8, has has half of the kills of the entire opposing team with insane numbers in this game. TriPPPeY absolutely leading this Optic squad.
And for now, Mangler in the hands of Rayne, but he's not going to be able to fire any bullets in anger as Pistola is soaring through the skies here, top middle over the sandbags. Just trying to put any pressure onto these final players that are inside of the garage from eUnited. That grenade over the top of him is going to do the damage as far as giving away the information of where that player was. Optic will clean that one up. 37 to 29, and you can see with the way they're playing here, Andy, why these guys are 8-0.
Lucid just cleaning out the back of the tower. Like you said, if you're just joining us, Optic Gaming has not lost this game type in competitive play. There's actually very few game types that they even have lost in competitive play, and as the numbers continue to accumulate for the side of Optic Gaming, TriPPPeY now 17 and 8, enormous numbers from him.
TriPPPeY trying to slide down to help out a teammate. He'll find Spartan behind him instead. His teammate Lucid will move in to pick up the assist as well. So 2 fall very, very quickly here for Optic Gaming. Lucid and TriPPPeY trying to survive for now and doing a fantastic job of doing so. And by surviving, you can see the cavalry is coming as well. Ola will pick up one. Spartan manages to trade one out, but look at this teamwork. So good, the movement here from TriPPPeY to just get into position to help out anyone who asks.
They are both weeks ahead in terms of preparation, and now 11 kills ahead in the game. 45 to 34, only 5 kills away from closing this out.
United trying to put up a final valiant last effort, but Pistola's going to repulse her back up top. Spartan takes him down for now, but 36 kills to 46 is a gulf between the two that I'm not sure Optic will be able to turn around. The United trying to do what they can. Spartan, he'll pick up one. Lucid, he'll pick up one himself, and when he picks up one, it normally turns into 2. And now just 3 kills to go here for Optic. eUnited have had a valiant effort in this series, but it's looking like Optic will be should, and I say that, should be able to close this out.
They should. Really, these next few kills, there's not even enough kills to even make a game of this. 48 right out of 40. Optic Gaming just looking for their final 2 to close this out. What a series it's been, but they need 2 more kills to finish this one.
And the players trapped in garage as well. It's just a case of making that push. Push because we can't lose. The Ogre said it best. Maybe that's going to be the case here. The game is over. The series is over. But it's the same old result as Optic Gaming will win the series in an absolute nail-biter versus eUnited.
I believe it was 21 and 11 from TriPPPeY, and if I'm not mistaken, we'll get an eye on the stats. I think it was a 50 to 40 win. TriPPPeY being the difference maker. We talk about a lot of players on this Optic roster and how they can really step up and go off at any given moment.